Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a legacy video every Friday. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another legacy video, and today I am playing Sneak and Show featuring Mistrise Village, the new Tarkir Dragonstorm card that has much of the legacy combo community sort of riled. And let me just try and see if I can get that up. Yeah, so this land enters tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest. We control plenty of mountains in this deck, so that's good. And then you can either tap it for a blue, or you can tap a blue and tap this land, and then it has the activated ability of the next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. I think when I first read this, I was like, wow, that's really sweet. It's, show and tell. It's basically like untapped Boseiju who shelters all. But at a second glance, that's not true at all. This is different in a lot of different ways. So let's go over the downsides first, which is the you don't like if you want this land to make your next spell uncounterable, it does not also produce mana. In fact, it costs a mana. So counting this land as a mana source, which you should, that means it makes your spell that you want to be uncounterable cost 2 more mana than it would otherwise cost, which is quite drastically different from Boseiju, which adds mana. So Boseiju just taps itself, you pay 2 life, and then it adds a colorless mana that if you use that on an instant or sorcery, that spell is uncounterable. So very different. But where does this differ in a good way? Well, first of all, it doesn't specify the spell type. So you can basically just pay a blue and tap this, and then put, say, Sneak Attack on the stack. Or if you're playing with the One Ring, put the One Ring on the stack. It also means that spells that do not have a generic mana cost in them, so like, say, Veil of Summer or Spell Pierce or something like that, can also become uncounterable, which is really sweet. It also means something that is free, for instance, Force of Will, if you use the alternate casting cost of exiling a blue card, then becomes uncounterable. So it has a lot of different applications that Boseiju does not. And the first place that people went was to Show and Tell, and it's also quite convenient that Show and Tell would typically either splash red or splash green. There have been like Dimir Show and Tell decks. I played that. You can splash white for get to fairy and all that sort of stuff. Worm's Chant, but I think in the last couple of years, or maybe just generally historically, the two most favorable or favored splash colors have been red and green, which is the mountain and the forest that we need for this to not enter tapped. So moving on from that, I have chosen to play Sneak Attack here, or Sneak and Show, rather than Simic Omni Show, or Omni Tell, whatever. I've played Simic Omni Tell a lot lately, and I think it's good. I think it's really good, but I do feel like I feel like there's a lot of Beanstalk that has come back, and in particular a lot of leyline bindings, and I think having to Show and Tell in Omniscience as your plan A is a little bit vulnerable to leyline binding. I know you can then Cunning Wish in response, but that's a lot. Like you're requiring your hand to have another card, because the Cunning Wish would get your win condition, right? So you need 2 Cunning Wish, or you need Emrakul and Cunning Wish. And then also, like, if what you're doing is using Mistrise Village, then you can bet your bottom dollar that the opponent probably is sitting on a counterspell of some sort. So if you make Show and Tell uncounterable, put in Omniscience, and they have Leyline Binding, then you Cunning Wish, then they will counter the Cunning Wish, and then you need to also have protection for the Cunning Wish. So I think it's not at all unbeatable, Leyline Binding, but I think it does detract me from wanting to play purely with Omniscience. And I think, like, in this deck, in this list here, there is, like, if I put Show and Tell on the stack, then there are a bunch of, like, outcomes from that which would be beneficial to me even if Leyline Binding was in my opponent's hand. So if I show and tell in Sneak Attack and I have an open red mana, then I can activate Sneak Attack with Leyline Binding on the stack. If I put in Gristlebrand or Atraxa, I at least get like a bunch of cards. Um, and then I do have two Omnisciences, and I think they're also nice to have because there's the other side of the coin where there are decks or cards rather, like a Containment Priest, for instance, completely shuts off what this deck does unless you have Omniscience in play. So it's a lot of give and take. I decided to play with two Simian Spirit Guides rather than the fourth Petal and something else, because I think it synergizes nicely with Sneak Attack, and it's nice. It's mana ramp. It's very powerful. The sideboard is um, just a it's not a Cutting Wish sideboard, so there is a lot of room for different stuff. A couple of Blood Moons because I think that card in general is good in the format right now with like the Remnants of Eldrazi. Um, I don't know, even like Mono White Initiative. You can look at lands, and the 5 color, 4 and 5 color uh, bean greed is also susceptible to a Blood Moon. Gone with 3 Fairy Macabre, which might be a bit weird, because it's generally pretty weak versus Oops All spells, or at least can be. But I think like I'm facing a lot of Reanimator in leagues right now, and not Dimir Reanimator, but I'm facing a lot like Mono Black or like um, what's the Golgari is the color combination like with the Chain of Smog combo as well. So I think I think it's okay to be on Fairy Macabre. But yeah, let's jump into a league. Okay, so we're on the draw in round 1 here with a keepable hand, I would say. We're a little bit sad if our opponent thought seizes our Brainstorm, but other than that, I think this hand is okay. We have all of part A of the combo and none of the part B, and I wonder if I'm supposed to play out Volcanic Island or Polluted Delta here. I think I play out the Volcanic Island. I think my hand is okay at beating Wasteland, and this sets up a nice turn 2 Brainstorm. Or even if I have to emergency Brainstorm now, I can at least make sure I only have to keep one of those cards that I put back. Basic Plains Misty Rainforest. Okay. So this could be Nadu. It could just be like blue, white, X control. Ooh, the stock up is nice. I think I'll stock up next turn. I don't want to get gotten by like an Orcish Bowmasters here if they suddenly fetch Underground Sea, but Bowmasters with Brainstorm on the stack, so I'm going to pass here. Okay, we'll see what they get. Probably a Surveil Land. Okay, no, so this is Beanstalk, which means they could be a Bowmasters deck for sure. They're not a Yorion list, though. I think I will fetch Thundering Falls. I would like to find a Force of Will, I guess, or a Sneak Attack. Okay, I'm gonna play my Mountain and play Lotus Petal. Just maybe I should play both Lotus Petals in case they Spell Pierce here. And I'm gonna cast Stock Up. I mean, if they do Spell Pierce, I probably don't want to pay for it. At the cost of 2 petals, that's a little bit steep. Red mana. This is a main deck Pyroblast deck. That'd be interesting. It is. Wow. I think like my best draw here could be like Mistrise Village. I would need another land in order to be able to go Sneak Attacks like activate. Second Sneak Attack. So we could play 1 Sneak Attack now, and then like if they have a counterspell, then play another Sneak Attack next turn. But I think I'd rather wait. Is this the Bowmasters? No, it's oh, it's the Bargain, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna Brainstorm in response. We have a Spell Pierce and a Flusterstorm we could hit here. We do hit. Wow, those are some good hits. Okay, let's put back Emrakul and where is it? Emrakul? I guess like sneak attack and Emrakul. Depending on what happens on this turn cycle, I think okay, they want to rebuy their bargain, that's fine. I think I'm just gonna make my Scalding Tarn land drop and say go on my next turn. Because then on the subsequent turn, we just get to make sneak attack uncounterable and have red mana to activate it. And then by that point we'll have a second sneak attack as well. And then the question becomes if we put in Emrakul or Griselbrand, because they have 1 mana Leyline Binding here available to them. Well, it looks like they're just passing. Okay, well, let's fetch. This will cost us both of our Lotus Petals, but I think that's a bargain we're happy to make. Alright, my next spell is uncounterable. Let's cast Sneak Attack. And I think I do put in Griselbrand. They could have Bowmasters, but I think right now they have, if they want to cast the bargain, they are, well, they're not tapping out of Bowmaster's mana. Then like if we go Griselbrand activate, and then they Bowmasters, then we can Griselbrand activate again. Okay, well, let's see here. They are casting their bargain. I think if I do, that's a good question. If I put in Griselbrand, do I go to combat and make them make their move first, or do I can activate Griselbrand and look for a Simian Spirit Guide or another Lotus Petal to then make it a lethal attack? I think I actually like attacking first because it gives me more life to work with in case they do flash in Bowmasters. Okay, so they can flash in Bowmasters now. They Leyline Bind. I'll draw some cards, some more cards, go down to 4 life. Okay, so we did find the Force of Will and a Spirit Guide. So I think I just let this happen, this Leyline Binding. And it's not even apparent to me that they make it on Griselbrand. Yeah, no. So next turn we will have Mistrise Village making next sneak attack uncounterable. With a City of Traders, we can then also activate and make the kill. So, do I draw 7 more? Is the question. I think I do. I'm greedy like that. It'll take me down to 4, but I'm not losing any life next turn from I don't have to play Ancient Tomb or anything. Let's see. Okay, that was good. I think I should have done that on my second main then. There was a chance I could go for Show and Tell, which I could actually, and I have Omniscience and everything, but then if they have another Leyline Binding, it's kind of bad. Okay. Okay, big discard time. Oh, they're brainstorming. Yeah, that's fine. So basically I want in my hand for next turn, I want Sea of Traders, Sneak Attack, Emrakul, Force of Will, blue card, Force of Will, blue card. We can discard all lands that aren't the City of Traders. We only need one of these Emrakuls. I guess we don't need Simian Spirit Guides, which they are kind of nice to have, or the Lotus Petal. So right now I'm keeping, let me see here, 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 Show and Tell, 4 Atraxa, 5 Sneak Attack, 6 Emrakul, and then I need another blue card, right? I guess that can be a Ponder, and then it's the Simian Spirit Guide. Alright, Emrakul gets shuffled. So if they also have Surgical Extraction here, that would be quite something. I think I'd be most concerned about something like a Teferi here, but nah, they had nothing. So let's start out by making my Sneak Attack uncounterable. And then if they have Leyline Binding and win the counter war, they have to put the Leyline Binding on the Emrakul, right? Or they're dead. And then I would still have a Sneak Attack, and because I drew Brainstorm as my second pitchable blue card, I would still have Atraxa for next turn. Alright, I do expect them to have a second Leyline Binding here. So Life from the Loam deck, I notice now, so they probably have Wasteland as well. There's a Savannah. It looks like I'm getting to move to combat. That's weird. If they have leyline binding. Oh, okay. Something's happening. Endurance. I think that's okay. So Annihilator comes in here. Endurance has to be left behind in order to then block Emrakul. So it's not looking good for them. They'll keep a land and the endurance is gone, so they're left with 1 land versus my sneak attack and 6 lands. But you have to make this play if you're the opponent because it's not certain that I have a second creature in my hand. There's Flooded Strand. Let's go and activate. Here comes Atraxa. Can we find another creature to make this lethal? Source the Plowshares, maybe? Yeah, I think that's fine. There is Emrakul. This should get the concession. I will activate. That got the concession. Excuse me. By the way, if you're picking up some bird noises, it's because I'm recording this on my porch. We have this very little vacation home about half an hour from where we live with a little porch, and that's where we've been spending this Easter break. Alright, let's see here. I want Blood Moon. I probably want Pyroblast. And I might want Defense Grid. I think I actually do want Defense Grid. But is there enough things that I want to cut here? I think I can cut the Omnisciences. We also have to be just slightly mindful of blue card count. This is different from the Simic deck, I feel. So, what else is cuttable here? They're a Pyroblast deck as well. We saw. I think I'll cut 1 stock up. So that's 3 cards I've cut, and I have 6 I want to bring in. I think maybe cutting a Spirit Guide is also okay here. This is not a Daze deck that we're up against. Although, like, Spirit Guide is also how we make turn 1 Blood Moon. I think I'll cut a 2nd stock up as well. That takes us down to 21 blue cards. And then maybe on the draw. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say maybe on the draw only bring in 1 Blood Moon, but I really want Blood Moon versus this deck. Okay, I'm going to go down to 1 Defense Grid. Try this. Alright, kind of similar hand last time, except this time we do have the sneak attack already. I'm going to keep, and we'll see. Opponent is down to 6 cards. But I mean, look at that Mistrise Village in game 1, huh? That was just a very good proof of concept. I'm very certain they had counter magic in their hand the whole time, or at least most of the time. Alright, I'm actually going to make Volcanic Island my first land drop, because if I do find Blood Moon plus a Soul Land on top, then that's something I might want to have access to. Okay, we don't want more lands. I like the 2nd Ponder, and I also like the Flusterstorm, so I think this is a fine keep. If they just turn to Slam Orcish Bowmasters, then that's kind of... Beanstalk is also somewhat annoying, but we'll deal with it. Right. I think I will, excuse me, I will just pass here and then fetch Thundering Falls EOT. How much you want to bet they have the bargain? I'll take the Brainstorm, sure. I am sitting on just a couple of lands more than what I would like to. I'll Ponder. If they Bowmasters in response, I can then Brainstorm in response to that. I guess I'll take Force of Will, and we'll pass. Is this the big bargain turn? That's kind of a problem. So I think I will Brainstorm in response. They might Pyroblast this. I'll put away 2 islands. Then I will force Pitch Force. Then they'll Pyroblast, I guess. I mean, they might anyways. And then I will Flusterstorm the Pyroblast. And then I hope they don't also have a Force of Will. Because if they do, then I don't really have much going on. I'm going to fetch Basic Island here. Okay, so the red Elemental Blast got countered. Let's see if my Force of Will suffers the same fate. It does. Yeah, I'm just going to concede here. I don't have an out to this Containment Priest. So I think we should have an out to Containment Priest. How about that? I don't really have a lot here. I could board in my Brazen Borrower. That's pretty much it, right? Then I guess I could board back some Omnisciences just to be able to also have that as a way to beat Priest. Oh, that was gross. Yeah, I'll board out the second or the third stock up. I think I just go like this and then hope to be able to wrangle them out of priesthood. Like an early blood moon here, I think would just be absolutely devastating. Maybe I'm too focused on that, but that would be oof. So I'll keep my 2 blood moons completely tunnel visioned on them. I also like Mistrise Village and Blood Moon, quite the combo, but I think I think Blood Moon beats Mistrise Village here. So you have to worry about me having something good here, seeing as I kept a hand that only had Mistrise Village tapped as my turn 1 play. They do not shuffle on the Ponder, okay. Force of Will. Okay, I'll cast Brainstorm. Thundering Falls. Okay. Well, I mean, I could just make a YOLO turn 3. We both only have mountains play here. But I can't. Oh, I can actually, yeah. I just need Thundering Falls as a mountain. So that can interplay tap this turn and then, yeah. So I think, I do kind of want, I kind of don't want both my Blood Moons, but at the same time, I don't really want them to see that Blood Moon is coming, which is exactly what they'll just know if I mill the Blood Moon. So I think I'm just going to put back Blood Moon and then, I guess, Flusterstorm. And then I'll play Thundering Falls and I'll keep the card on top. Which also means, like, if they were to Surgical Extract... I guess actually, hang on, no. This Flusterstorm can go to the graveyard. Yeah, because if my plan works, then I won't have any need to be casting Flusterstorm anytime soon. Carpet of Flowers, okay. So they get to make 1 mana here. But that also means they can't make... like, they can't Containment Priest with protection. The carpet is annoying because eventually I'm going to want probably a basic island in play. Alright, so I am just going to go for the Blood Moon here. They might have Hydroblast in their 75. That might be what they have right now. I hope this is a Brainstorm. Oh, it's Hydroblast. I think I let this happen and then we try again next turn. So they make green. Another carpet. Okay. Oh, bummer. This can get them out of Blood Moon. They showed us basic planes. I'm assuming they have a basic of each, like, of each of the Bant colors, at least. Black mana. Really? Surgical on Blood Moon? Is that happening right now? Oh, Surgical on Brainstorm. Okay, that gets a Brainstorm out of my hand, which is annoying. I think my plan, depending on if I can draw a blue card here, might just have changed from Blood Moon to Show and Tell, and then, like, if they have Leyline Binding, then Attrax still, like, draws me some cards. It's a Pyroblast. I think I'm going to cast Show and Tell here, because if they want to Pyroblast it, they'll need to fetch a non-basic with Misty Rainforest. And if they Force of Will it, that's a 2-for-1. I can live with that. Hopefully they don't just have, like, a Spell Pierce. Okay, they're fetching probably Volcanic Island. No, Basic Island, okay. So they're about to let this resolve, I would think. Force of Negation. Okay, that's fine. I still think this Blood Moon, as long as I don't play any islands, this Blood Moon is going to do a lot of work. It basically makes their... Oh, another Surgical? Get the fuck out of here. I mean, I will have to force a. Oh, is this a bargain? I think I force of will that. That's too much goodness from them. Okay, bargain is countered. Oh, and they can get another basic. Boo. Okay, well, so they'll have white and they'll have island and plains. I'm not gonna play out the ancient tomb first because it's not gonna matter. Like if they have hydroblast, I only have one red mana. Oh, that's not true. Actually, I could have made this uncounterable. Wow, that was a punt. Okay, we just hope they don't have pyroblast or rather hydroblast number two. Ooh, wow, they do get a hedge maze. Yeah, this was a punt on my part. I should have made that at the cost of 2 life. I should have made this uncounterable. They put a card on top of their deck. Okay. Well, Blood Moon's in. Okay. We saw the basic planes in game one. I'm quite surprised. Maybe they found basic planes or they've been sandbagging it. I don't know. I am certainly not playing this island. I'm not sure who like draws out of this first. I would like a fifth non-island land and then a sneak attack. I guess Emrakul is also good for when we eventually hopefully get a sneak attack. I don't think I'm going to be pyroblasting a cantrip here. I think I need to say that for like force of will on some of my stuff. Okay, that was good. So now we have sneak attack if we draw it with pyroblast backup. To feel even safer, I would want another non-island land. Because if I draw sneak attack right now, I think I'm incentivized to play my island in order to have sneak attack plus 2 untapped red sources, which would then, if they somehow manage to beat that, like if they have force of will plus hydroblast, then I'm kind of in trouble. Okay. As soon as they hit a white source, I like the basic planes basically, I start to get worried. Blue elemental blast, gross. All right, I'm gonna try and counter this, and we'll see. They probably have like they probably have what you call it, a force of will. I still only have one island in play right now, so that is my blood moon is gone. They get to make 2 mana. They get their hand freed up. They pitched to brainstorm. Okay. Now I guess on the plus side, I can make my sneak attack uncounterable if I were to draw one. So they pass spell pierce. That's probably not going to do a lot of good here. All right, let's pass back. A red mana, 2 red mana, and they pass. Interesting. Lotus Petal. I think I'll pass again. I am concerned about them casting Rakshasa's Bargain, which I think they're going to be putting back on the stack right now, or on top of their deck right now. Yeah, because that is going to help them pull ahead here. They don't have. They're missing what? Just red? Yeah, they're just missing red to have full like domain for Leyline Binding. 4 mana are being tapped. Okay, so that happens. Can't stop it. If they put something within range of Spell Pierce, I'm going to make Spell Pierce uncounterable with Mistrise Village. Here's a Brainstorm. So this is the turn to draw something good, I would say. Our opponent is burning up a lot of the clock here. Beanstalk, I don't think so. They would need a Spirit Guide of their own or a Dark Ritual, and they didn't have that. Okay, come on, sneak attack. I'll take a Brainstorm as well, or any cantrip really. Yeah, I guess I'll play out Scalding Tarn. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I played my island and my Lotus Petal, I would have 11 mana. So I'm still a couple of short from actually casting Emrakul, but it's funny. I have 6 tier. Opponent has another Beanstalk. Opponent is taking a long time on all operations right now. They have more than 6 minutes, so I'm sure they can still win, but it is worth taking note of. I really want my Blood Moons back in my deck because, funnily enough, the way this game is played out, like a Resolve Blood Moon would just absolutely like crush here. But I only have the 2. Oh, I saw a red card and I got all excited. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with Island, 11 with Petal, 12 with Spirit Guide. I just really don't want to give them that island. But they do have a lot of mana now anyways, so they probably won't, it won't matter that much, but yeah, let's see. Another bargain. I wonder what the win conditions in that deck is. They play all colors, so it could be like 4th Airlingas, but it could also just be creatures like Uro or like Murktide. Okay, they made red and white, so does that mean it's 4th time? Yeah, it probably does. If they tap out of white mana and don't have Leyline around, but they're smart, they're not doing that. Okay, so they get 4 horsies. They draw up to 10 cards in the end. I mean, we're pretty much dead here. Might as well make another land drop. We won't be able to use both. I suppose there's a world where I play out the Spirit Guide to like trade with one of the horsies, but that doesn't take any. It doesn't add a turn to the clock, so I guess it would make it so I could tap my other Ancient Tomb as well. All right, last draw's up, and we draw. Ooh, it's Atraxa. I would have needed another petal in order to cast her. Alright, GG's opponent. Alright, on the play for round number 2 against Joe L. I wonder if this is Joe Lisette. Old Miracles Master. I'll keep this, and I will turn 1 stock up. It's going to cost me a Lotus Petal, so it's sort of going card neutral. But I think that's probably still good here. And then the question becomes, if my opponent decides to force of will it, do I force back? To which I think the answer is probably going to be yes. Okay, so we found show and tell and sneak attack, and so we want the land and we want one of the sneak attack show and tell things here. Casting show and tell into Emrakul is not that exciting. I'm going to take the polluted delta and fuck it, I guess I'll take the show and tell. And we'll make them have an answer for a turn 2 Emrakul, which they might have. Basic Island Ponder, okay. This could be a mirror match, in which case show and tell is mighty dangerous. But we can't live in fear, am I right? So if I find a sneak attack on top of my deck, that might make me want to reevaluate what I'm putting in off of show and tell. I'm not going to play around days off of Basic Island Ponder. There are plenty of decks that would play that, but I'm not going to. Let's put show and tell on the stack. I'll force pitch Brainstorm if I have to. I didn't have to. Alright, let's see. I'll put in Emrakul, and you have Atraxa. Okay. So, Atraxa, let's see here what they revealed. They reveal a show and tell and a force of will and an Emrakul. And the One Ring. Oh, so a lot of good cards. So it is a show and tell mirror. The One Ring is not scary. Like, they can have the One Ring because basically it gives them protection, but I can still attack them, so I'll still get to annihilate their board. They need to find, I think, Omniscience here. Okay, so they choose the One Ring, Emrakul, Force of Will, Ponder, and Underground Sea. Alright, so that's 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Alright. And then we pass. And then they untap with drawing their 11th card. So obviously quite scary. If they have Omniscience in play, then I think we've lost. Or rather, if they have Omniscience in hand, they just need to have a soul land as well. If they start casting cantrips here, then I'm pleasantly sort of encouraged. Still could go wrong here. They cast Brainstorm. They need Lotus Petal and Soul Land, and then show and tell with Omniscience, because we know they have the Emrakul. If the game were to end right here, I am also kind of pleased that they didn't see the red mana from us. And yeah, that's how it went. Yeah, okay, Emrakul held up. It's funny, I got the same feeling as when I was playing Ad Nauseam Tendrils and like back in 2014, and you made like turn 1 10 goblins or whatever. It's like, is it good enough? Alright, so Pyroblast, yes please. Force of Negation, yes please. Consign to Memory, yes please. That takes one ring. It takes attracts a trigger. Blood Moon is probably too cute, although they were like heavy on Underground Seas and stuff, but I don't know. And then I think honestly I'm okay shaving some number, if not all number, of show and tell. Probably just two. And then like Omniscience could still be something I want access to. What else? What do we cut here? Maybe I'll cut a Lotus Petal and one Omniscience. Maybe it's both Omnisciences since I've cut two Show and Tell. Yeah. I think this matchup becomes all about sneak attack for me, post sideboard. I think we can keep this hand. They are black, so we have to expect them to have access to Thoughtseize. A Thoughtseize here would be annoying, but also something we should expect. Oh, there's a cantrip. Okay. It's funny, I saw blue mana being tapped, and for a second I was like, oh my god, Tameo. And I was like, oh, phew. That makes me wonder if I should consider Tameo for this deck. Probably not, but maybe. They shuffle off their Ponder. I draw the one card I probably didn't want to draw, but I'm going to play it Thundering Falls here. I think I'll keep the sneak attack, honestly. I'll play Lotus Petal. The next turn I can like sneak attack, and if they counter it, I can just sneak attack again on the following turn. So something like a Spell Pierce here would be very annoying. Force, I accept the trade and pass. I could force pitching Atraxir, we still have the Emrakul, but like if I do that, then I still have to pass. If they untap, cast Show and Tell, then it's alright. They surveilled Island into their graveyard. Okay, they didn't daze before, so that's good. I'm okay floating it rather than risking having it Thoughtseized, I think. And now I will Force of Will back if they decide to counter this. Okay, it's less in play. I'll pass. If they Brazen Borrower it or whatever, I can, like Petty Theft it, I'll accept that and just replay it. They have 2, 3 black mana, 4 black mana. Yeah, the One Ring is fine. They get to draw a card and live one more turn, but without any permanent symbol. Attacks, Emrakul annihilates. Alright, I'll play my land and just pass the turn. And Emrakul gets shuffled back in. And they will pass it back, and at which point, hopefully the game will end now. We'll see if Atraxa can find us another creature. Attracts a trigger. Okay, now opponent concedes. Alright, sweet, that was quick. Off to round number 3. Okay, so on the play for round number 3, but before I start the game, I just want to give a shout out to my newest member, Andrew Belden, who joined the YouTube channel memberships. So thanks so much, Andrew. You are helping keeping the lights on here at the Neville Shoot channel. I really, really do appreciate it. I also want to give a quick shout out to my oldest member, member D, just username D. D has been with me since I opened up the memberships 9 months ago, so thanks so much, D. All right, let's see here on the play. And yeah, this is turn 2 sneak attack or turn 3 sneak attack with an activation. We'll see what we're up against here. So far, it's been 2 blue decks. Let's see if we hit some non-blue decks in this league. Well, nope, is the answer. Basic Island and Ponder. Okay. The most honest of blue mage openings. And they even have the Fish Ponder, the Lorwyn Ponder. I love that. Let's fetch Thundering Falls. And I guess start looking for interaction here. That's kind of what we're missing. I'll take a Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm not just jamming a unprotected sneak attack into a blue opponent, but I will cast Brainstorm now. Let's put away one Gristlebrand, and I think maybe it's the Flooded Strand. I like having the two different threats here with the Traxxon Gristlebrand. And I also like the stock up. Like, I like being able to, next turn, like, put a spell that they kind of have to care about on the stack and stock up. And then hopefully, like, it either finds me Force of Will or, like, another counter spell, or it gets countered, and that effectively has achieved the same thing. Alright, let's see what we're up against. Tundra, okay. Voice of Victory. Okay, this is the one where I can't cast spells on their turn. Okay, sure. Plus it does other things, I think. When it attacks, yeah, you get, like, some warrior friends. Alright. I'm going to get Volcanic Island here. And I get a basic island. My life total is going to become the source of some pressure, or not the source, but the target of some pressure. Okay, double Brainstorm and Spirit Guide. That wasn't the best. I think I just take the two Brainstorms, actually. And I think I'll cash one of them in now. To make use of my mana here. There's a Force of Will, that's good. So let's put away Omniscience, and I'm going to put away the Sneak Attack. I don't expect them to be able to shuffle my deck, but I don't know if they could have, like, a Black Splash and then, like, Thoughtseize me here, in which case my Force of Will wouldn't work because of this Voice of Victory. Okay, I'm down to 13 here. They Brainstorm, okay. Wasteland would be annoying, but not sort of insurmountable. They just make a land drop. Let's hope they don't have two counter spells, because I think I am kind of running out of turns. If they Spell Pierce here, I probably... Okay, but they didn't. They cast Force. Oh, Cephalid Illusionist. Okay. Alright. I'm pitching Brainstorm here. I would rather have the Ponder if I need to. Oh, it's in. Sweet. Okay, let's activate it and put in a Traxa. And immediately get a trigger. If we find Emrakul here, we are golden. There is Emrakul. Okay, so I'm going to pick... okay, never mind, they concede. Yeah, I was going to pick Emrakul and Lotus Petal and Flusterstorm, and that should kind of wrap things up here. Okay, so this is a Nadu deck, I guess. I think I want Defense Grid, and probably Pyroblast. And they, what lands did we see? We saw Basic Island and Tundra. Wonder if Blood Moon can mess them up. Maybe Blood Moon if there's a game 3 and I'm on the play. I guess, like, this is again the thing. If they packed Containment Priest, then we want Omniscience, which is otherwise a card I would probably be looking at cutting. I think I'll get rid of a Flusterstorm. I brought in Pyroblast. Flusterstorm is still nice for like if they have stock up or something, but if they have Nadu, then, you know, I'd rather have Pyroblast. We didn't show them, I don't think, the Spirit Guides. They're kind of nice. I guess I'm gonna cut a basic island. I'm going out on a limb here that they don't have Wasteland, which they could have, of course. And then I think maybe I'll cut the Spell Pierce as well, having added the second Pyroblast plus my defense grids. Kind of, yeah, I think that's an okay thing, an okay decision. And then maybe I'll cut a stock up on the draw here. I was talking to someone at my LGS, I think it was, and we were talking about stock up in Sneak and Show, and they were saying, why would you want stock up if you can have, like intuition at instant speed for the same mana cost. And I remember thinking at the time that that made sense, that that was a question worth asking. But I think also just I've come to the conclusion that okay, there's nomads, so we're under pressure immediately. Um, we can't even ponder into anything here, but I am gonna ponder. But yeah, I think that I don't think they can really be compared. Oof, this is a shuffle, which signals weakness here. Eh, Pyroblast would have been nice if I had the right mana. If they just go like turn 1A, turn 2B, win, then we can't really do anything about that. But yeah, I think like stock up and intuition shouldn't really be compared in that sense. Like stock up, yeah, like sometimes it is a tutor. Okay, thankfully we get another turn here. There's show and tell, okay. And we have a Mistrise Village, so like eventually we can do things. But that's gonna take a lot of mana. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that that the show and tell, sorry, the stock up being able to dig for disruption plus combo, like the fact that it's card advantage, just sort of puts it in a different on a different shelf to the thing. Okay, I'm going to if nothing else happens here, I'm gonna fetch Thundering Falls EOT. Uh-oh, this is Nadu mana. No, if I had one more turn, my Mistrise Village could make my Pyroblast uncounterable. I mean, obviously, this cannot be allowed to stand. If they have Force of Will here, I'll just concede. Yeah, they do. All right. I mean, we could make them play it out and get some more information, but I'm not interested. All right, so this is Nadu, which we kind of knew from the Narcomoeba or whatever it was that was the Illusionist from last game. I think I want Blood Moon on the play here, and I think I will cut. I'm gonna cut the Omnisciences and just Tainment Priest. So I'm at 20 blue cards, which I think is acceptable here. I'm not boarding in Fairy Macabre for the reason of what just happened last game, where it doesn't even matter at all. So I'm gonna keep, and I'm gonna play Flooded Strand, which is gonna get me Thundering Falls, and then Mistrise Village enters untapped. But this is a little bit clunky, this hand here. And if Thundering Falls shows me a Soul Land, then I think I am just going to jam Blood Moon, make them counter it, and then we have Show and Tell later. Okay, another Volcanic Island. I guess I'll take that. I'm going to play the Mistrise Village, make them have to fear uncounterable Force of Will. I hope they get a non-basic. Narcomoeba, that's a sweet play. Surveil that right into play. Rainstorm. Okay. The thing though is, if I cast Volcanic Island, or rather Blood Moon now, and it resolves, then I don't really have the blue mana I would want. Okay. Thassa's Oracle surveilled into the graveyard. Tell you what, I am gonna go. No, I am gonna go with the Blood Moon here. This has to be countered, which I'm sure they will be able to with their flush 7-card hand over there, but I don't know. There's a big pause here. Maybe they're just thinking about what to pitch. And so my reason for jamming here is, like, we could cast Stock Up and hope to find, like, Force of Will and then pass. But I think in either case, the pieces are going to be moving around in certain ways here. Like, if I find Force of Will, then they don't have to use Force of Will on Stock Up. That means they save their Force of Will for their turn. And then, like, if they... Oh, it's in. Wow. Well, let's see. Maybe they have their basics in hand. Yeah, wow. That is rough for me. I'm hoping I can find a way out of this in 18 turns. Well, Here comes Brainstorm. They don't get to play like their combo, any of their combos off of Basic Island alone. There's stock up. Well, here comes the weird times. Yeah, I think by some distance my best draw here is Basic Island. Because Basic Island lets me start just jamming stock ups and then eventually show and tell. Okay, they're moving to discard, it seems. Or at least they're moving to combat. Did I board out a Basic Island? I think I did. Like the hero I am, I'm down to one Basic Island, but we do also play some Lotus Petals. And at least like these... Now I could cast Sneak Attack, but I'm not gonna. I want like a Force of Will or another land plus Pyroblast. Mistrise Village, okay. So now I could Sneak Attack plus Activate, or if I draw Pyroblast, I could Sneak Attack plus Pyroblast. Defense Grid. Now, there's a banger. They have to counter this. And it can't be Force of Willed. Like, it can be Hardcast Force of Willed here. If they have Consign of Memory, that would be pretty good trade for them here. I guess this isn't even that amazing because they have 5 lands, right? But if they ever tap out, or tap low, I think mostly I'm hoping to draw out a counterspell here. That's not Consign of Memory, because that doesn't really counter anything else for me. Okay, Sneak Attack's in. Alright. I mean, I would take another Sneak Attack here as well, because... Lotus Petal, yes please. Alright. So if I cast Show and Tell, and it resolves, then what happens? No, I think I'm gonna... Oh, oops, I clicked through my combat step. That was dumb. That was incredibly dumb! Yeah, my finger just slipped. I am gonna cast a stock up here, but the thing is, if they were to... if they counter the stock up, then I can't do anything else anyways, so... Looks like they are choosing to Force of Negation this, pitching Nadu. Winged Wisdom, okay. I'll pass. Pyroblast is my best draw here. They're casting their Brainstorm. And now they have 6 mana, so they can like double force through the thing next turn. I don't know. Do I cast a Sneak Attack here? Oh, it's tough. It is a little bit tempting, right? So they just pitched a force, or like cast a force. They pitched Nadu, right? Okay. No, I think I'll pass one more turn. All right, here we go. That's not really what I wanted. Okay, let's pass. I mean, I could also draw Force of Will. That would also be good. I think I will like cast second Blood Moon in case they, I don't know, like have Brazen Borrower. Okay, I lied. My best draw is still like the Singleton Basic Island. There's the Pyroblast. Okay, I think that means I'm going to try this. And they need double Force of Will here, or double Force effect. Counter target spell if it's blue. Yep, there's this third force, as it were. Pitching Daze. Okay. So now, my island, a Lotus Petal, or another Sneak Attack gets me going. I have 7 turns. Alright, I draw another land. And I pass. I will kind of be secretly happy if their Narcomoeba actually goes coast to coast. I think it entered play when I was at 18 life. I am now at 6 life. That's another Emrakul. Come on, deck. That's not what I need. I will shuffle back. I don't know. I'm not sure how the math holds up. If I shuffle back this Lotus Petal, I also get 3 cards in the deck I don't want. But I guess I will do it. If they have Surgical here, then it's kind of frustrating. And if they have drawn another Force effect, then yeah, it's looking kind of bad. Ancient Tomb, right? So I am at 6, 7, 8 lands. kind of far away from casting Emrakul. I think I need to feel comfortable about this. I need to hit running like cards that I want to play here. Oh my god. Oh, so close. What's this? They're casting Brainstorm end of turn. Right on. Second number. Come on, deck. Alright. One draw step to rule them all. Well, no, rather, two. Oh no! Okay, I think I've lost to my own Blood Moon here. Let's get rid of a Brainstorm. Okay, one life. Last possible draw step of the game, and opponent can't have another Force of Will. GG's. Oh my god. Alright, round number 4 on the draw. Let's recover here. That was quite the shellacking I took from the little critter that could. Okay, and we're up against Eldrazi, and we have a turn 3 show and tell into Omniscience. Question is if that's going to be good enough. If I was on the draw here, I would be much happier, but let's try this. Oh, it's 12 posts. Okay. I think this will come down to whether or not they have like Thought-Knot Seer. Them leading on the cloud. Oh yeah, it's Cloud Post. Never mind. Expedition map. Okay, so next turn they will be able to crack the map. So do I play around? I think I play around Wasteland rather than Disruptor Flute. Like me playing Basic Mountain gives away what I'm doing more than if I had played a Volcanic Island. Ooh, what's this? They have blue. Does that mean Force of Will? What is this? Yeah, Disruptor Flute is what we're worried about right now. Okay, they're cracking the map. That taps them out. So this, yeah, another Cloud Post. Okay, I think we just have to hope they don't have Force of Will here, and if they do, we have to hope that they don't have the ability to meaningfully like end the game next turn, because we do have 2 consecutive show and tells coming. But if we can find a Force of Will here, that's also pretty nice. I think I'm gonna put Brainstorm into the graveyard. We found a Volcanic Island, not too exciting. Let's see if they have Force of Will. Okay, they didn't. So unless they can, like, put in, I don't know, Trinisphere or something, I think we're fine here. I'm going to start out with an Atraxa. So that comes in. Atraxa triggers, and there's Emrakul and Force of Will. So that should end the game, I think. They have not hit the concede button yet, though. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what this deck is trying to do, but it probably involves the One Ring, and I think we have Blood Moon plus Null Rod that are kind of good cards there. It might be like a Jeweled Lotus deck. Wow, I have a lot of things that might be good here. So I'm gonna board out Flusterstorm, because they probably, I don't know, they might be like a stock up deck as well, I don't know, but I'm gonna board out the Omnisciences and a Lotus Petal, since we're bringing in Null Rod. Maybe that'll be 2 Lotus Petals I'll board out. And then I'll board out a Ponder as well. Yeah, I think I need to learn from the last round that if I'm boarding in Blood Moon, I shouldn't board out a basic island. That does seem like pretty logical, and just I wasn't really thinking. I think I had 2 divergent sort of sideboard pivots in my head. Like one was bring in Blood Moon to, because this is a deck where Blood Moon's good, and the other one was like board out a land because this is a deck where I don't need all my lands. And then I decided to cut arguably the most important land that I had 2 of and cut 50% of that. So I wasn't the cleverest. Okay, I have a little bit of everything here. This is the classical like conundrum with Blood Moon in Soul Land decks, is like if I go for the earliest possible Blood Moon, it's turn 2, but then I have to fetch Volcanic Island, where what I really want to do is fetch Basic Island first. So I do think I will do that. I will take an extra turn off. Okay, now they have a lot of mana. They have the One Ring. I think I have to force that. I'll pitch the Brainstorm. I could just go for the Blood Moon now. Because I have Sneak Attack, I think I will do that actually. And that way I also only need to find another blue card. That way I have Force of Will, pitch something, and then still have Atraxa plus Sneak Attack. But who knows, this Blood Moon might just be good enough to draw a concession here if it resolves. They can Expedition Map for a basic land, but I still think that there are limits to how far that gets them. Okay, another Expedition Map. Okay, that's a blue card for 4, so now I just need any land, and I can play my Sneak Attack. Okay, they're cracking their Expedition land, they're getting basic island. So jealous. Another ring. I think if they have force here, they force it back. It could be they have force of negation, in which case the Sneak Attack is not gonna resolve, but we will see. Okay, Sneak Attack is in. You have 1 turn, my friend. Okay, they're passing. I get to do Sneak Attack things. I'm not gonna worry about Null Rod right now. Let's put in the tracks off of this Sneak Attack. We have a trigger. They could have Consign to Memory here, but they don't. So let's get Gristlebrand and Spell Pierce. I guess Lotus Petal. That's kind of nice. Sneak Attack, and I guess Scalding Tarn. I think I was supposed to take the Mistrise Village, but I also don't think it really matters a lot. Oh, and I just play out a land like a doofus here, like in case I hit Island with my Gristlebrand. And if Gristlebrand can find an Emrakul here, then which it doesn't, I don't feel like going to 1. So let's attack here. We go up to 22. And then I'll draw some more cards with Gristlebrand. There's Basic Island, Force of Will. I'll take 7 more, why not? Another Force of Will, a bunch of Emrakuls. Yeah, we should have this locked up here. I'm gonna play the... Do I play the Null Rod? Playing the Null Rod means I can't cast Consign to Memory, but I have double force, so that's probably fine. They crack their map. That makes sense. They get Caracas, which is a mountain. And then I will move to discard. I have to sacrifice my Traxa and Gristlebrand. I'll get rid of all of the lands that aren't basic island and the spare Sneak Attack and I don't know, Ponder, Consign to Memory, Stock Up, Show and Tell, Brainstorm. I guess I'll get rid of 1 Emrakul. I'll get rid of Volcanic Island, Scalding Tarn, another Ponder, Spell Pierce, and Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, so I have 1 turn. They need to... I can't see how they get out of this, but stranger things have happened, I suppose. Let's play the island, and let's activate, move to combat, and they concede. Sweet. All right, so we're 2-2 heading into the final round. Okay, on the draw for the final round, I think I'm gonna keep this hand. I would feel a lot better with this hand on the play to then like lead on Scalding Tarn and hold up Flusterstorm, but it is what it is. I think it's a pretty decent hand. Opponent goes blue fetch pass. So we shall pass as well. If this is like I was gonna say Entomb, it would be the easiest Flusterstorm of my life. Okay, Meticulous Archive. So we're up against either blue-white control or Nadu of some kind, I would assume. With a slight chance of it being like Dreadnought. I don't think I'll fetch or Thundering Falls here, because I would like to have some basics under me. Okay, let's pass here. Slightly concerned about Stifle, because that would really wreck me here. Ancient Tomb. Okay, so this could be a mirror match. Ancient Tomb makes me think that it's not a Wasteland deck, but let's see. There was a very unpleasant pause there. Okay. Emrakul. I don't think I want the Emrakul, so I'm going to put that into the graveyard and very clearly giving away what I'm doing. But the basic Mountain and Thundering Falls probably gave that away already. And I draw an Emrakul. Fun. Alright, I'm going to cast a Brainstorm here. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff available to us. But I think I'm gonna... What do I do here? I think I put back Sneak Attack and Show and Tell. And then I float the Volcanic and I have Force plus Fluster up. And then there's still a choice to be made if they end up resolving like a Show and Tell here. I think this is worth a Flusterstorm. And this is kind of what Flusterstorm is in the deck for. I mean, not specifically stock up, but stock up type spells. Ooh, and they could have played around it, but they didn't want to make their land drop. Okay. I really need more lands, though. I could cast Show and Tell right now, but then what happens? Then if they put in, like... I think I'm actually going to do that, come to think of it, because they would need an Omniscience of their own and a Cunning Wish and a Counterspell, which they could have, but they could also not have. And anything else, I think I win, because I have both Emrakul and Omniscience. And if nothing else, this will draw out a 2-for-1 here. Oh, a Spell Pierce. So they have their tricks as well. Okay. Yeah. Alright, I'll pass. Sneak Attack is on top of my deck, and they're passing. Okay. I think I'll cast Brainstorm here. Okay. That's pretty good. So what do we do here? I kind of want all of these cards. I could put back Lotus Petal and Atraxa. And then I could cast... Well, I could cast Show and Tell, or I could cast Stock Up here. I'm not sure which is better. I think I will try the Stock Up. They are showing hard cast Force of Will here. Okay, so I get my I guess I'll take Force of Will and Atraxa, and I will pass. So I have double Force of Will here to stop their Show and Tell. And next turn I can like hard cast Sneak Attack, or I could try Show and Tell. Urza's Saga. Interesting. What is this? Is it even a Show and Tell deck? You have to wonder. They're tapping out of Spell Pierce mana here. They made their land drop. They shuffle. Okay. Torpor Orb. That works. Okay, so it is just a Dreadnought deck. Yeah, let's cast Show and Tell. They have Force, Pitching Force. I will Force, Pitching Show and Tell. They have another Force, but luckily so do I. And now Show and Tell resolves. I put in Omniscience, and then I hardcast Emrakul. And all right, cool. So this is a Dreadnought Urza's Saga deck. I am again tempted by Blood Moon, so I'm going to put in Blood Moon. I could be kind of tempted by Defense Grid, to be honest, but do I have 4 cards to board out here? I think the Spell Pierce probably can go. Like, it doesn't counter Doorkeeper's Thrall or Phyrexian Dreadnought. It does counter Stock Up, so does Flusterstorm. Oh, I think maybe I'll cut a Stock Up here, although that really did pay dividends in this match. This is a Daze deck I'm up against most likely, although they are both Ancient Tomb and Or is a saga, so can they really afford to play days? Maybe I can cut like a spirit guide. Okay, so we're at 23 blue cards right now. I think I'm going to cut a ponder and the spirit guide. Okay, so I have turn one defense grid, turn two show and tell into Emrakul. That's kind of interesting. Um, yeah, I think I just jam this. They they can have spell pierce here, but then like they don't have that for show and tell. Force of will, pitch hydroblast. Okay. Just trying to think if they could be like a Caracas deck. I suppose they could, but can you really afford that? Okay, they keep a card on top of their deck. Let's hope it's not Wasteland. And I think I just jam here. Start putting show and tells on the stack. Something tells me they will have a hard time beating an Emrakul, even with a full turn. If they have Teferi, then that's a way they can beat him. Force of negation, pitching Hull Breacher. Okay, so we are grinding them out of cards here. But yeah, they could still win. They're passing again. Do I show and tell once more? I think I do. We drew Omniscience. I mean, they aren't playing lands. They aren't making land drops here, so they have spells in hand. But I think this is still fine. All right, let's put in Omniscience and put in Emrakul. Hey, we got there. So we got a 3 and 2. Positive record there. All right, so we I think this was a fine league. I think the losses we had were fairly close, and one of them was kind of weird. Um, it sucked to lose to the 5-color Beanstalk deck, but I think like that was at least fairly close, as I recall it. Um, I think this is the avenue I would be happy taking show and tell right now. Down. Like I think sneak attack is just such an appealing card right now. I think the format is not really that ready for it. I think everyone is thinking that show and tell decks are all about like grinding stock ups and then having this massive battle on the stack. And then suddenly here is sneak attack that can't be flusterstormed or well, it can't be spell pierced, but it can't be flusterstormed. It can't be pyroblasted, and it doesn't really like it. It's not completely indifferent to leyline binding, but it's not like you have a lot of game there to play around leyline binding, and I also like how this deck just presents more threats. Yeah, I don't know. I think I need to, like I think it was a pretty big punt, like cutting my chances of drawing Basic Island in half when I was boarding in Blood Moon. I already went over that. That's probably down to inexperience for me, like being a Blood Moon gamer. So, but I think I think this is a good like point of departure if you're interested in Sneak and Show. Uh, the Gristlebrands, should they be Atraxas? Maybe go like a 1 and 3 split. I still think like sometimes Gristlebrand is like just the muscle, and Gristlebrand is pretty appealing. Um, the Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce could potentially be something else. Could we should we be playing 4 stock up instead of 3? Maybe, I don't know. The Omniscience has certainly came up as relevant. But yeah, I think that's probably it. So thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will be back with some more Legacy. Bye bye.